Welcome back, everybody. I'm Lauren Simonetti. We remember Superstorm Sandy 1 year ago today. We have the owner of a different type of business, Gary Raymond, with ComForcare Senior Services. You didn't have any big damages. You lost power for 11 days. That's a long time, both in your home and in your business. But because you provide care for seniors, this is a big deal, no power. And in fact, there were 147 deaths because of Sandy. You actually had one of them in your business.
Yes, we did. Unfortunately, we experienced one of those with a veteran, actually.
Jeez. So what was it like, 11 days without power? How did you provide service to the seniors?
Well, fortunately, we have a disaster plan that our franchisor prepared us for, which...
so right before Sandy, or just because that's basic?
That's basic best practices.
Okay.
And consequently, we had printed out all of our client records and contact records and so forth that we needed to be able to keep in touch with people. However, with the power being out, it became very difficult.
So what did you do?
Well, first thing we did is attempting to move away from our home. We realized that we were only able to get about 2 miles away without running into roadblocks and trees and so forth, and internet connections were out completely. We were able to get a small internet connection and contact some of our clients and caregivers. However, that was very intermittent and very difficult to keep good contact.
What were some of the reactions that you were getting from the senior citizens and their families?
Despair. People who could not reach family members were reaching out to us to give them information about the status of their loved ones. So it became very frustrating for us and our staff to answer these calls and actually tell them that we didn't know at that time.
There were 8.6 million people without power from Sandy. You were one of them. When it's day number 12, the lights are back on, the phones are working. What was that day like?
That day was chaotic a bit. We were able to reach during Sandy at least 50% of our client base and caregiver base. So we had good information.
And how many clients do you have?
At that time, we had 75.
Okay.
And because we were able to keep in contact with them, we felt good about that 50%, that they were safe, that they had power, or they were in a safe place.
How many of them did and did not have power?
The majority of them did not have power.
Right.
Some came back after 5 days. Many came back after 7 days. Some didn't come back for 15 days.
And their status 15 days later?
Well, they were either able to move in with a loved one close by,
but
many of our families live
close by
out of state.
had no power, and many didn't have something convenient where they could turn.
So some people moved out of state to be with their loved ones. They were able to get, once they get transportation, they could get there. Naturally, our caregivers went with them to care for them.
How many caregivers do you employ?
From time to time, we'll employ about 85 to 100, and from payroll to payroll.
So more than your client base? More
than our client base. The shifts are staggered sometimes, so for one client, we may provide 3 different shifts.
Okay. I hate to ask you how did you feel when it happened, but you're personally having issue. Your family doesn't have what they need, and your family through your business doesn't have what they need. What kept you alive?
Well, our mission really is to provide safe, reliable care and to keep in touch with a loved one.
Right.
So once we were able to get to a hotel, we were able to set up a makeshift office.
And this was 5 days in?
This was 3 days in.
3 days in.
3 days in. And even though the hotel did not have internet service, their internet was down. By means of a SkyPack, we were able to create a Wi-Fi zone and keep in contact. So did our staff. Our staff was able to...
And final question, how would you rate the assistance that you did get and the response of the community?
The assistance from the local community was great at the time. Police did assist our caregivers to get to where they needed to go, and we were able to help many of our clients remain safe, as was our mission.
Thank you for that. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much
on the
for having
anniversary.
me.
Gary Raymond, ComForcare Senior Services, the franchise owner. Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks again.